A few weeks earlier than expected, Sky News reports the results of the appeal made by Hannah and Colin Ingram Moore against the demolition of the unauthorised spa that they built at their home. For those of you that don't know, here's a brief recap from one of my previous videos. Now, for those that don't know, it was built without full planning permission because there was a revised plan submitted which was then refused. This being after the event that it was built other than in accordance with plans originally submitted and originally approved. It became apparent during the construction of the building that it was not being built in accordance with the above approved plans. It was a different shape, C rather than L, and a larger floor area. It is also sited closer to the boundaries with the adjacent road. The gap is now between 2.7, down from 5.1, and 6.2, which reduced from 9.2. And so a significantly shorter gap between the boundaries of those adjacent properties. In addition, some of the previous planting along the boundaries of the site has been removed. And so here's the bit that sparked the revised planning application. Retrospective. Following a visit from the enforcement officer and discussions with planning officers, this revised part retrospective application has been submitted in an attempt to regularise what has taken place at the site. This, in my respectful view, is they've been caught building something that shouldn't have been there and are now retrospectively trying to get permission for it. Now, also for those of you that didn't watch my previous videos, I also made a prediction as to the outcome of this appeal in my previous videos. This is what I said. Now, my views to be expressed in this video are also somewhat grim in that I cannot really see that this appeal will be successful. Now, whilst we won't hear the outcome of this appeal for some 6 weeks, I've taken a look at the full documents on the planning portal behind this application and the refusal. I can't put them on screen for copyright reasons because you need to have permission to reproduce them to the public, but I can quote from them so as to explain it to you because it is newsworthy. And of course, I'm doing this in an educational context. Now, the reason I feel that the outcome might be negative for the family, not to preempt the inspectorate, they will of course make their decisions all without me, but the reason that I come to that view is some of the phrasing within the officer's delegated report, which is contained on the portal, which detailed why that planning should be refused in the revised format. And it would seem that I was right, because Sky News reports that they have now lost this appeal against the demolition of the unauthorised spa. So what is likely to happen now that they've lost this appeal? Well, as this was an appeal against the demolition order, that demolition order will now stand, meaning the building will have to come down. But in the decision, it's likely that there's a time frame attached, which is probably measured in a few months as opposed to weeks or years. So the building will have to come down and the site will have to be restored to its original condition. And this is why I've said in previous videos that it is absolutely critical that if you want to build something, you need to get prior planning permission. I've even had people email me that have said that they sit on planning committees and email me angrily to tell me that it is not unlawful to build something without planning permission. And of course, that's strictly true. But this is one example of where this can go horribly wrong. So whilst it may not be unlawful to build the thing in the first place, if it is built without requisite planning permission and is subsequently found to be in breach of planning rules, then there might well be an enforcement order such as this one to demolish the building. So when I say in my videos, don't build something that you might need planning permission for without seeking said planning permission first, I really mean it, because you could end up going through this whole process, which is likely cost tens of thousands of pounds to fight, and ultimately they've lost, which also likely means that they're going to have to pay some element of costs, having lost the appeal against Central Bedfordshire Council. But as this is an unfolding story, as I've read it on Sky News, and in the interim I've seen it pop up on The Sun and various other papers as well, the decision is not yet live on the Central Bedfordshire Planning portal. I will look at that when it is, and I will comment further on that. But in the meantime, I'll link to a couple of other videos on screen right now that you can go and watch if you want to hear more about the background to this family and all of the controversy surrounding the charity and Captain Tom. In the meantime, thank you for watching.